So today we are at the American Cancer Society, one of the locations in California, because they have put out a beautiful vintage Carnival glass display, and I knew everyone would want to see it. So here we have a St. Clair or Summit Holly Carnival Cobalt toothpick holder. It's the beautiful rainbow iridescence on there. It says Joe St. Clair in the bottom. $20 plus on a piece like that. And then this next piece I'm picking up, I believe, is a Stein. Now, Steins like this come in a lot of different shades and colors and styles. This one is a Westmoreland with its original gold foil sticker in place. So you're looking at $40 plus on a piece like that. Also, that ruby iridescent tone tends to be a little bit on the rarer side. This is an imperial piece, electric blue, nursery rhyme, carnival glass mug, 35 plus on that. It shows little characters on the sides from different storybooks. And then here, this is a Summit piece, a uranium toothpick holder, that green iridescence. Another green piece here, the green grape cup, is Imperial Carnival glass. And then this is a Dugan, a golden grape ruffled bowl. You can see the grapes on the bottom there. Here I'm carrying it over to the hold shelf. I believe this is a piece that I haven't listed quite yet, but it is headed for the shop. So if you're interested in that, come check it out. If it's near the time of the release of this video, the Carnival glass and vintage glass in general tends to go pretty quick from the Etsy shop when I list it, so you gotta be fast. This is a beautiful St. Clair piece. This is the Kingfisher, sometimes known as the Midnight Marsh because it has reeds on it and cattails. It's an egg cup, not a toothpick holder, but an egg cup. And those are absolutely beautiful because they have a beautiful bird on the side. This is Indiana glass, so an iridescent purple pedestaled compote. We don't eat compote anymore, but back in the day it was all the rage. Now they make beautiful decor pieces or candy bowls or nut bowls. And then I'm wandering around now, kind of away from the beautiful glass display to other things that are on the shelves. This is a really nice location, this particular thrift shop. They do a really good job of making everything neat and clean and displayed very well. So here you can see this was not a Fitz and Floyd. This was a World Market piece. Still has some value, but just something to keep an eye out for. They can look very similar. And then over here, there are real Fitz and Floyds that I look at next. There's a Harvest Bounty salad plate, which I pick up here. Those tend to be in the $20 to $30 range. You get a little more towards Thanksgiving for those, and if there's not so many pieces left online to purchase. Also, this candy cookie jar holder, sometimes called the fruit basket, $40, around $40, maybe a little bit less on those, again, depending on how many are available online and what time of year it is. But those are beautiful Fitz and Floyd pieces. And then the Italian plates with the lemons, of course, gorgeous. As we're walking around, these Princess Diana porcelain royal collectible dolls. These are worth about $105 each. And then Dresden style porcelain figurine of a girl sitting reading a book here. I believe that says Florence Ceramics on the bottom there. $30 plus on that. It's not actual Dresden, but it's done pretty well. These are David Winter cottages. These are in their original packaging. They have the boxes right there. $100 each on those. That's the Stokesay Castle and the Newton Mill House. Those are rarer pieces to find, so they do very well. And also collectors love to get their hands, I found, on the castle pieces to add to their collection. So if you can ever pick them up at the right price, whether you're for your collection or a reseller, absolutely do. Especially if they have the original packaging, they're very easy to ship. Over here, I just noticed the quilt, I think, is kind of why I stopped. These crazy fabric quilts that are vintage, that have patchwork and things inside of them, these can be valuable, so they're worth taking the time to look at. This one's embroidered very nicely. This one has some value to it. I'm not sure what the price was on it that day. I did not pick it up, but I wanted to show you. Keep an eye out for pieces like this textile. Continuing on, this was kind of a children's section, some more contemporary toys, some craft supplies, things of that nature. Nothing really vintage. These shelves too with these white dishes, more contemporary in nature, nothing very old there. Again, if you're in a thrift store and you need any of these things, absolutely take the time to look at them for yourself. Just not great for a vintage reselling video. That's all. So adorable figurines here. They had a small shelf, the screen wash shelf. That little glass pitcher that was kind of a plum tone, those can do very well depending on the fineness of the object, the articulation of the glass, the color, and how small it is. Those are collectible, so they're worth keeping an eye out for. Some porcelain dolls up here. We have some tea jars, a little more textiles, an ice cream machine that looks older than any I've ever seen before. I kind of wonder if it's still functional or not. That's a tea kettle and warmers. So that's made so that that square blue stand underneath holds a tea light to keep the water warm. Those, you don't usually see them in that good of condition, but that wasn't a particularly good one. There are some that are finer than that. That high chair, the vintage high chair, very fine piece of furniture, does need some refurbishing for sure. There's some use there. But if you're into collecting that sort of thing, this is where you're going to find it. Now, this beautiful Capote Monte style porcelain lamp figurine that just went by with the two dancing figures under the lamp. If that were real Capote Monte, that would be worth thousands. As a replica done well, which that one was, and a little bit newer, still vintage, but newer than an antique Capote Monte, still worth hundreds. So definitely worth checking out. I know it kind of flashed by. You might have to go back in the video and look to see what I'm talking about. But the Italian lamp with the two figures underneath it, absolutely beautiful. Over here, there was... This bowl is actually Chinese. I thought it might have been a Japanese style. It's done like in a cloisonne style where when the light goes through it, you can actually see through the porcelain. This was not that. It was not like a plique de jour. So it wasn't, worth that much, especially since it was Chinese, not Japanese. And then the soapstone trinket box worth about 20 that I just showed. And this is a cashmere wooden bowl. This is actually a very nice item. So like this $70 to $90 on that is a beautiful representation of that type of bowl, that sort of craft, especially with the different color painted birds on it, and no wear on the outside, no damage that I saw. So definitely worth taking a look at. And then I think this was all a bit more contemporary. Pretty little piece set here. These are in poly blue. It was nice that they had the little card there with the label kind of describing what everything was. I enjoy when they do that at estate sales as well as thrift stores, when they take the time to label finer pieces. So you don't have to sit there and Google Lens it if you're a first-time collector or if you're a purchaser that's looking to obtain items for different patrons. You can just kind of run around and see everything that you need to very quickly because it's all pre-labeled. That's very helpful. Doesn't always happen. Cute way to display these pins on this apron mannequin here. I actually see a lot of antique stores do that now with mannequin like busts, like dress forms, where they'll put the brooches or pins on there, and it is a fun way to display it. So now we're in the SPCA thrift shop, I believe, where all the purchases or donations go to helping the SPCA animals. And I have to say it, I've been in this location a few times. I'm not going to tell you where because I'm not trying to throw shade at a thrift store. But this place is never priced correctly. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I see very few people shop here and make purchases. Here I'm picking up a little pair of garnet Winnie the Pooh earrings and some cubic zirconia Mickey Mouse earrings from the Disney boutique line. Those are nicer pieces of jewelry and they're on their original card backs. So I did get the Winnie the Pooh ones for myself just for fun. But they were a fair price. They were full retail, and I was willing to pay that. It is a donation after all. But when it comes to a thrift store, generally pricing every single thing at full retail or higher is not a good idea because it's just not a good way to get inventory sold. And if people want to make a bigger donation, they always can, right? So it's great to get someone making a purchase and then they can donate more money if they choose to. Like this bag here. This is a beautiful purse. It is the Angela. Like it's hand painted. You can look these up. They had it at above retail for this piece. And it's used. And it's been donated. So it was in beautiful condition. Fair enough. But I could go buy this piece that day. I did go look it up. Because I didn't understand why it was so high on the tag. I think they had it like at 110, and the tag confused me too. This is me walking over to ask him because the tags were very confusing. It said 110, it said 150, and it said 96. And not a single one of those numbers had a dollar sign next to it. So I was trying to figure out what it cost. And he had to explain to me that 150 is what they had found it online for, which wasn't accurate at all. That 110 was the price, and that 96 was the item number. So kind of confusing, and not a great way to do that, you know. And absolutely, I went and looked it up, and I could have found two in the same condition with free shipping to my door for $40 less than what they were asking in store. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. If I can buy a brand new piece from the actual creator or a used piece for less, why would I buy this one? Now here, you're going to see me pick up this little troll-looking doll that's kind of covered in moss and ladybugs. This is a house guest doll. It's an artisanal handmade piece. There is a signature on the bottom. This was the only piece they got wrong in the whole store. They were asking $6 for this. Handmade artisanal dolls are delicate. They're difficult to find. They are a handmade craft that requires skill, and that one was very well done. Skipping ahead in the subject really quick, that was a Paragon teacup, the Woodland series, $40 to $50. I just wanted to point that out because I was handling it. So back to the troll. Those sorts of dolls are valuable, and the reason they got it wrong because they couldn't find it online, because whoever made this doesn't sell online. They likely sell, and they can't, so you can't get a Google image hit on it or an AI search value on it, because these are probably sold in person at craft fairs or events. That doesn't make it less valuable. It could, in fact, make it rarer and more valuable because it's not available for purchase online. So just keep an eye out for things like that. That was the only piece they got wrong in this thrift store, and I know it was because they couldn't find it online through an AI search. And that's unfortunate because I would have paid more for that one for sure than $6. It's worth quite a bit more than that. And I don't know who's doing the pricing in the shop, but they have got it all wrong. That being said, it is a nice shop. People make beautiful donations here. One other thing that annoyed me, you might have noticed it on the video when I was putting the troll down. I walked up to the counter to set the troll with my earrings that I had already handed to them to hold at the counter for me. Some thrift shops do that. Some thrift shops will have a place where you can hold things at the counter. And when I went to hand him the troll, he then said, "Oh, there's a hold area," very rudely. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, if you had mentioned that when I handed you my earrings, I would have known that. I thought you were holding things at the register, right?" And he was like, "Well, I wasn't supposed to take the earrings." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's something you could have told me. I'm more than happy to walk them to the hold area." So then he gives me the earrings back that he was already holding. And I carry the troll and the earrings over to the hold area. And you might have noticed in the video, there is a sign over the hold area that he is demanding I use, right? That says, "We're not responsible if people take your hold items and buy them without your knowledge." So why on earth? First of all, the hold area is not at all visible from the register. So not a great way to do that. You're going to let people take whatever they want from there anyway, then it's not a hold area. If anyone can walk up and take the items I've curated to purchase, then it's not a hold table, right? It's not a little hold shelf. It's here's a shelf of things that other people want that you can still buy. And then also, when I was at the counter and he was kind of snippy with me, acting as if I should have known this, even though I rarely come into the store and they had never had that before, he also was like, "And you need to put your things there and not carry them around the store," which again was a little obnoxious. And I was like, if I want to carry my things around the store, I can. And but I was like, "Oh, okay, I can just carry them." And he goes, "See, do you see the sign? We're not responsible for missing hold items." Hilarious, right? So what's the point of the area then? Like, of course I'm not going to want to use it if people could just come take my stuff. But he was also like, well, we don't have baskets, so you have to use the hold area. And it was just, the whole interaction was very strange. If you demand that customers use a hold area that isn't a hold area, no one's going to shop in your store. If you don't provide baskets but also won't let them carry their items and say that they have to allow other people to take the items they've already chosen, I mean, it's just all very strange. It was a very strange setup. This was kind of like a shoe and purse room. I'm not going to go over that many more values because, as you can see, like contemporary modern pieces, not a whole lot of value here. And then things that were valuable, every single thing on these shelves that was kind of labeled with index cards was overpriced. Not just full retail, but above full retail. Every single thing that was there, I could go find online with free shipping to my door for 20% less or more than what they were asking. So it didn't really make a lot of sense to purchase anything they had. Also, I think someone in here who does their pricing likes glass, especially clear glass, because they had a lot of clear glass that wasn't very valuable and wasn't very desirable that was priced up as well. And you tend to see that when someone likes that sort of stuff personally and they think it's more valuable, so they price it a little too high. This right here is a Giovanni Schumann cold cast bronze. Now this is a beautiful piece. The cherub boy on the dolphin can kind of see between the metal that's in this glass cabinet there. That is a valuable piece. That's worth about $90. They were asking $150. So that was very strange. There was also a 1986 David Chesney Studio penguins. There were 2 penguins, these beautiful pieces right here. You can see that they have the paperwork with them. You know, this smaller piece is worth about $60, the larger piece worth about $150, and they had them both at $200 each. I came across a little bit salty in this video, guys, but if you want to help us out and you enjoyed learning about these items and their values, please take the time to like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to us.